Hi guys, and welcome to my new tutorial on Svg Animation. So for this one, I was thinking about what should I do for this tutorial. What is useful, what is in right now, or what is still in, like responsive design, web animation, and scalable vector graphics, SVGs. And I thought, why not join it all together? So responsive SVG animation. How awesome is that? You don't have to answer it. Don't. It's okay. So here we are. Uh, Basically, the idea is that we have an icon, an image that changes when we resize the window. So this is actually going to be our final product today. What we see here, so we have an image on the side of the text, and when we resize the window, the image changes, it gets smaller and a bit more simple. And the last one here is sort of like a mobile version. It's even more simple and a bit more minimalistic, actually. And you can see that there is also like the background changing. This one is like daytime and nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. Oh. Okay. And this is not completely my idea. Actually, a while ago, I was reading this article from Sarah Dressner, and she wrote about different ways to use SVG sprites in animation. It's a great article, and she also mentions Joe Harrison's article about responsive icon design. So I'm going to put the links down below in the description, and you can read those two articles. I recommend it. They're really great. And let's get to it. So here we are in Sketch. I'm using Sketch to do my SVGs. And here we have 3 different images I made before. So we're sort of going for like big image and then toning it down to a medium image and then a smaller image that is a bit more simple, a bit more minimalistic. Now it doesn't matter what the size is. I just wanted to show you what we're going for here from large to small. But now we're gonna make them the same size and we're gonna stack them on top of each other. So scene 2 goes on scene 3 and scene 1 goes on scene 2 and scene 3. Let me just put this away. So now we have scene 1, scene 2 and scene 3 and we're gonna group those together. So in the end this is just gonna be one SVG like this. And now you export your SVG to your file where you have your HTML and CSS. Now with Sketch you just press export my SVG and make sure that you choose the SVG format for this. Press export and you export it to your file. I already done that, so I'm not going to do it right now. And we will move to our TextMate. So here we are. In your TextMate, open up your SVG file, like this. Now, before you use your SVG, try and optimize it. No, not try and optimize it. Yes, do optimize it. If you don't know how, check out my previous tutorial. I mentioned Jake Archibald's and Peter Collingridge's SVG optimizer. So I recommend that you do that before using SVG files. Okay, so I already passed it in my HTML. Here I have a div that has a class of container, and inside this div we have an SVG, which is actually quite large. And in the end we have a heading and a bit of text about polar bears. Pretty interesting. Now I already have some rules applied in my CSS for styling the SVG. And now we're going to dive into how to make it responsive and animating it. We will be using media queries. If you're not familiar with those, it's a CSS technique that uses media rule to include a block of CSS properties only if a certain condition is true. So what we're going to say is display this if our window size is more than, let's say, 500 pixels. And right now, I have all the code that I already written commented out, just so you see the process. And this is what's going on. Okay, so we only see the first scene, no animation going on, and if we resize the window, nothing really is happening. So for starters, we are going to put on scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. Remember, in Sketch, we had grouped together scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, and we're going to put display none on them. And the SVG still has a width of 270 pixels. So basically, this is what's going on. So no scenes anywhere to be seen. And now we're going to set different media queries, actually different media rules, to display different scenes at different window sizes. So I'm just going to comment this out. Okay. So the first one is on scene 1, and the scene 1 is going to be displayed block when our window size will be more than 1100 pixels. And the next one will be when the window size will be less, max width will be less than 1100 pixels. That's when we're gonna display scene 2, and we're gonna set display none on scene 1 and scene 3. Actually, scene 3 is still displayed none from before, so we can delete this. So display none on scene 1, the one that was showing before, and display block on the scene 2, the one that we want to show if the window size is less than 1100 pixels. And we're going to define a new width for our SVG. So basically, when the scene 2 will come up front, we will also set the width of SVG to smaller size. So let's say before it was 270 pixels, and now we're going to set it to 205 pixels. And then the last media rule will be when the window size is less than 700 pixels. Then we will show scene 3, so display block on scene 3, and we will hide scene 2 and scene 1. And again, we will display a new width. Wait, let me just comment this. This is something I want to show you later. We will display a new width on the smallest SVG. So the new one is 145 pixels. And now if we save this and check out what's going on, we will see that the image changes according to a different window size. So the smallest, medium, and a large image. And now the only thing missing is our animations. So we're going to be animating snowflakes on the larger image and also snowflakes on the medium image, and these little stars that are on the smallest image. So the snowflakes will be moving like they're falling down, like it's snowing, and the stars will be blinking. So we'll be changing the opacity of the stars, and we'll be translating snowflakes. Now I already defined my keyframes animation because I am lazy. So I'm just gonna comment it out and explain what's going on. But first, let's go to our HTML where we have our SVG. And here you can see in this G group, there are snowflakes. These ellipses are different snowflakes, and they have a class of flake2 and a class of flake. I put them to different classes, so the animation doesn't happen on all of them the same at once. So I can set a delay on the other one, and sort of they're moving differently. So it's a bit more of an organic movement there. And here is the keyframe animation for snow. It's called Any Snow. You can pause the video, check it out, what's going on here. But basically this animation is happening on the class of Flake and on the class of Flake 2. And then if we go back to our HTML and find, oh yeah, this is what we're looking for. Inside this group, we have our stars. And all these polygons are different, they're stars. And they have a class of star, a star 2, and a star 3. So for the same reason, I can set the different delay on them so they don't blink all at once. And in our CSS, this is the animation for the stars. So we're changing the opacity on 50% to 0. You don't have to define it from 0% and then 100%. For this, just the blinking stars, it's enough to set the opacity 0 at 50%. Now let's see if our animation works. Let's go to our browser and yay, it's snowing! It actually did snow today in Slovenia, so this is quite suitable for today. And let's see if it works on other images. Yay! It works! It's snowing here too! And the smaller one, let's see. Oh, and it's such a beautiful starry night. Actually, these are not... I think I should make them a bit bigger, but yeah, I think you can see it. They're blinking. I hope you see it. And this is it, the end of my tutorial on responsive SVG animation. I hope I didn't forget anything. I got this weird feeling. But anyway, I hope you found it useful, at least on some level. I will also put the link down below in the description to my CSS deck, where you can find this code if you need to check out anything. And I noticed that this is the second time I use a mountain in my design. So yeah, I really do like mountains. And polar bears, they're awesome. So now you know 2 things about me. I love mountains and polar bears. Or even better, armored bears, like Pansenbjörns. You probably don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna say goodbye. Have a nice day, evening, morning, and I will see you soon. Or you will hear from me soon. Anyway, have a nice day. Bye.